Hello everyone, welcome to Read 516. This is week 4, September 18th through the 24th. And the first thing we are going to be doing is going over some upcoming assignments and some announcements. So the first announcement that I have is that there's a slight change in some of the wording that you might see. So the online lectures will cover topics that I'm unable to cover in class, and assessments you will be administering the following week. So what I'm beginning to notice is that I'm not going to have a lot of time with you after you're with your student. I only have about 30 minutes, maybe 40 if I'm lucky. So that is just definitely not enough time to get in everything we have to get in. So you might notice a couple of changes on titanium. The only change is the week name and number, and this really shouldn't affect you at all. The only thing that it means is that you have more time for reading. So you may have noticed that the previous slide says week 4, and you might be thinking, oh, you just submitted stuff for week 4, but this is going over week 4 readings because I really want to make sure that you are prepared to work with your student and that you understand the content that we are introducing, and also make sure that you know why you are assessing different things. Okay, so other announcements to make is I want to congratulate you on finishing your first WAPR. Keep up the great work. I will give you some more feedback later. And as a reminder, just make sure that you have a header with your student's name, your student's grade and name. That makes it easier for me to refer back to, okay? Also, consolidate into as few files as possible. Make sure you are giving the required assessments. In some cases, if you were unable to finish an assessment, please make note of that on your artifact and in your WAPR. Also, please make sure to submit all assessment artifacts. This is helpful when we are grading, and it's also a requirement according to the WAPR rubric. Also, use the sample to help you better understand, and as always, you may submit your WAPR to me to get some feedback. When you do that, I will not read the entire thing and give you feedback on grammar and spelling and citations if there's any, but I will give you some feedback on the content. Also, as we spoke about this in class, please make sure that your interpretations are based on quantitative and qualitative data and that they correspond to the strengths and needs in that certain domain. And always don't forget the discussion of the assessment's limitation. Okay, so looking at week 4 readings that hopefully you've already done, you had chapter 9, which is discussing word recognition and decoding. You have chapter 8, which goes over word recognition and phonics. And you have the core, page 41 through 72, and these go over the assessments that you can possibly give to your students. And the one that is required is the phonics survey. And the last reading you have is an article, and this goes over the new instant word lists, and these are based on Fry's instant word list. Okay, there is a participation activity this week, and it is the running record homework. There'll be a separate video than this, and this will be on running records, and then you'll do a practice run, and then the actual homework assignment will be submitted via the assignment link on Titanium no later than Wednesday, September 24th. So please make sure you do view the bonus lecture on running records. Okay, so there is the running record and Ms. Q analysis homework. Okay, so assignments due this week, to kind of just put it all together, aside from your reading, you have your assessment artifacts and reflection due for your second session. And the only reason I put 2A is that it's your second session, and then A is the student A, your first student that you're working with. Your Miss Q analysis homework, and just a reminder about late assignments. Okay, looking forward into session 3, you have 3 required assessments. Your first one is your phonics survey from the core book. 2 is your Fry's instant word list, and then an additional assessment of your choice. So looking at your assessments over here, there's phonics 1, the BPST, the phonics assessment, which I think if you were to give these, it'd be kind of redundant as we are already giving a phonics survey here, but it is really up to you. We have some sight words and high frequency word knowledge to look for. We have multisyllabic words. Please remember that these are multisyllabic are longer words, so be careful when selecting these assessments because they may be for more advanced readers and you may not have a student that is ready for this assessment. Also, you can give any kind of informal assessment or observation with an anecdotal records of your choice. And this is not in your practicum guide, but I wrote here. Perhaps something you want to see is that you want to see your child reading words in context. Remember, these are in isolation. So it only gives you data based on them reading words in isolation rather than them reading words in a book or in a passage. So remember that in your book, it states that the most effective way to assess students' word recognition and word analysis skills is to capture their reading behaviors as they read out loud. So you can definitely do an informal assessment on them reading out loud. Okay, and then even looking forward into session 4 with your students, we are working on orthography and writing. Okay, so some reminders. Please make sure you are thoroughly prepared for your student sessions, and I've been very pleased with what I've seen. But always a reminder, just because you just never know how long an assessment is going to take. So some assessments are shorter than others, so you might want to bring some supplemental activities. If you are noticing that your child is having difficulty with phonemic awareness, it would greatly benefit the student that you do extra practice in those areas. Also, read instructions for administering assessments. Very important because it can give you insight on when you need to stop if the student is not showing proficiency in a certain area. Also, it might have you bring other manipulatives, or it might have you circle words if they missed a word, cross out a word. So there are directions when administering assessments, so please make sure to follow those. And your WAPR, make sure you record and analyze data as soon as possible. I know that this is not always the case. I know you guys are super busy, but I feel that it is very beneficial to you and the student when you can record the data and analyze it as soon as possible while it's still fresh in your mind. And of course, whenever you have any question, please ask. I'm always here to help you. Okay, so for week 4, you were reading things about phonics, decoding, and word recognition. So these are the topics of our lecture tonight, or today, depends when you're viewing it. So I'm going to first start off with word recognition and phonics. Our objectives is to explain the importance of phonics, decoding, word recognition, sight words, high frequency words, and also to select diagnostics for phonics, word recognition, and decoding. And what I mean by this is that as the lecture goes on, you should be thinking about what assessment you're going to give of your choice, and also think about the assessments that you are required in this course. Okay, decoding and word study. Learning to read words is fundamental to understanding text. Although proficient readers use multiple strategies for figuring out unfamiliar words, the most reliable strategy is decoding, the ability to convert a word from print to speech. And so there you have it. Decoding is the ability to convert a word from print to speech. Okay, so students must be taught how to decode regular words, and this is phonics. So regular words mean words that generally follow the rules and patterns. How to identify irregular words, so sight words. So irregular words would refer to words that do not follow the patterns and the sound spellings that are traditionally taught in phonics instruction. And it's also important to note that what may be irregular at first may turn out to be regular later. So for example, the word make, so M-A-K-E. To a kindergartner, that might be an irregular word because they have not learned the A blank E. So that word would be irregular. However, once they learn that rule and pattern, then it becomes regular. So this can change over time. And they also must be taught how to use word parts to read multisyllabic words. So as students develop their reading ability, they need to notice word parts and orthographic chunks. For some, this may come naturally, but for others, this can be very daunting. So this is all needed all of which require a strong foundation in print awareness and phonological awareness. Okay, so let me go back. I'm going to stop right here because I'm almost running out of time and I don't want to get cut off midway.